You guys, I am in Los Angeles today. You won't believe this. I am about to interview Garrain Jones. I'm here, and I'm so excited. Hey. Thank you guys. This is another episode of the Brittney O Show. I am sitting with Garrain Jones. It is such
an honor. And I'm sitting with Brittney.
Hey. Such an honor to have him on the show today. Thank you so much for being a part of this, for inspiring the masses, for inspiring me. So let me tell you how you impact me. Your Transformational Tuesdays, I'm not making this up. This is legit like the soundtrack of like my morning routine. Like legit, because I believe I do my stretches, I make my shake every morning, and I just believe in like working out my mind as I work out my body. Like Absolutely. I don't listen to music, I get it, but I don't. I listen to you.
That's a really cool compliment. Like, how do you take that?
I'm just saying, cool. You're doing the right thing. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
I wholeheartedly receive that, and I acknowledge you for, if you spot it, you got it. And if you can see it in me, it's a reflection of what's inside of you, but just you holding this space so that people like me could share these stories. Because for a long time I felt invisible, and I would never say anything. And so just to know that my story has been shared in countries all over the world, that's what I was holding in.
Wow.
So it's people like you that allow these stories to have wings, so other people that was in those times saying, me too.
Me too. I love it so much. Let's get in there. So, Transformational Tuesday.
Yeah.
You've been on it. You're so consistent. You're teaching me. Because I need to be consistent like that too. And somebody out there needs to be consistent too, okay? So I love it so much, but you didn't grow up in this positive sanctuary that you've created for your family and for yourself. That's not even reality.
Not even close.
But this is where you are. Tell us about your upbringings a little bit.
So, I was born in 3rd Ward. I was raised in Missouri City, Texas. My father was murdered when I was 12 years old. He was into drugs and stuff like that. And I wasn't in a gang, but I ran around with gangs. And I was breaking into cars, breaking into houses, went to juvenile for 6.5 months. It was just like, I was the guy that none of the parents would allow their kids to hang out with. In and out of alternative school. It's like when you get kicked out of school, they put you in alternative school. They call it A school.
Yeah.
And it was, I would have every adult say to me that you don't have a future that looks good. So I came from that environment, and I didn't know any other way to be.
Of course.
You know, that the cool kids were too cool to hang out with me.
Yeah.
I love my brother now, but like back then he was too cool. He didn't even claim me. My mother was at work.
Yeah.
So it was just me.
Yeah.
And the only people who actually wanted to hang out with me were people who were doing drugs, breaking into houses, and they embraced me, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't know back then that was my way of saying I feel loved, I feel wanted, I feel like people actually care about me.
Wow.
And so that was my domestication growing up, and your life doesn't get better by accident. So naturally how ABCs turns into words, turns into paragraphs and books and libraries, my domestication of problem child, imagine that being the ABCs.
Right.
And then you keep doing the same thing, and how that starts to amplify and compound over the years.
Right. And you really believe this is who I am.
Oh, 100%, because I didn't know any other way to be.
Of course.
So it's like a form of language.
Of course.
If you only speak English your whole entire life, somebody hands you a book on Japanese.
Right, what is this?
So positivity and gratitude and manifestation and being connected to the spirit and all these different things, that sounded so crazy to me.
Right.
You know, and so now knowing what I know, growing through my life, I can't even imagine how it was back then. I'm like, how the hell? Wow.
Right.
Wow. Right. Anybody that can crawl through that, learn the lessons, teach the lessons, and continuously grow through the lessons, you deserve an incredible life.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are growing up with that, they play the blame game. You know, when my mom wasn't around, when my dad was murdered, they come up with excuses, and it doesn't really seem like that necessarily is how you chose or choose to be.
Yeah.
However, there is a point in your life where you picked up a book, there's a point in life where you dealt with a mind change.
Yeah.
And a story that I'm so fond of you sharing was when you wrote a letter to little G.
Yeah.
Can you please share that with us, Garrain?
So, there was a time, I'm 39 now, like 33. And I just couldn't seem to figure out, like, how these people doing all this stuff? How they making all this money? How they traveling? I was like, maybe it's because I'm black. Oh, it's because of the president of the United States. It's because of the news, because of the weather, because of my mom, because of my dead dad. I was blaming everybody.
Yeah.
And the one person I forgot to blame, and I remember I was literally crying out, blaming people. And the one first person I forgot to blame was myself. I never took responsibility for anything, and not one person. Listen, I don't care who you say the president is. I don't care what the weather is.
Yeah.
I said I wanted to do something, and I never honored my commitment. That had nothing to do with anyone else but myself. No one else. That didn't have to do with my skin color.
Right.
That didn't have to do with the weather.
Right.
It was, I said I was going to do this, and I didn't do it.
Right.
So I lacked integrity. I was lazy. I was procrastinating. When I was 40 pounds overweight, I was eating fatty foods. I could have done something different.
Right.
So I get this book called The Power of Positive Thinking, not realizing what's in the book. And it's a book that's based off of Christian-based principles. You know, I'm a follower of Christ. However, my message is for all humanity.
Of course.
And I didn't know what I was reading at the time because I wasn't exposed to that kind of environment. I'm just like, something about this book.
Right.
It makes me feel good. I feel at peace. It's like my brain is calming down.
Yeah.
And I'm reading, and then I was just applying everything that was in the book, like from meditating every day and thinking positive and deliberately thinking like positive about all the negative things in my life. And I'm just
changing it up.
And I'm not aware. You can't change what you're not aware of.
Yeah.
So I'm not aware that my life is literally manifesting at the rate in which I'm feeding my brain. Because all I ever knew were the songs I grew up with, TV, society, being around the environment of gangs, troublemakers, drugs, and all these different things. That's all I knew. So now being exposed to this book that I'm just reading, and they say, they were just like, say these affirmations daily and lie on the ground and listen to the sounds of nature and all this other, go fishing. I start fishing.
Yes.
And I'm starting doing everything that's in this book.
Yes.
Simultaneously, all of these amazing things were happening in my life that I didn't link the two together.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, when I'm done with the book, there was still momentum on who I was being because that's all I was feeding my brain at the time.
Yeah.
Then I started getting cocky.
Uh-oh.
Then I'm like, hey, oh, you're good, you're such a superstar. I'm like, I know. I know. So like your brain is like a garden.
Yeah.
You don't tend the garden, the weeds will grow back. So,
that's so good,
when you're positive, you're feeding positive seeds. So it doesn't matter what trees, what the plants, it doesn't matter. If you do not tend the garden of your mind, the weeds of your past will come back and bring you right back to where you started. I wasn't aware that the book and the message in the book had something to do with it, the power of positive thinking. So when I stopped reading the book, just as fast as my life was manifesting up, I lost it all. So that happened so many times, the up and the down, and the up and the down, and the up and the down. It wasn't until I went to a personal development seminar, there was like, whenever you read a book, it's important to read every day. And I said, why do you read every day? And he told me exactly what I just shared.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's why. Light bulb.
Yes.
You read every day.
Yes.
You brush your teeth every day so you can have fresh breath. You take a shower every day so you can have a fresh body. You know, you wash your hair when you wash your hair. You do your face when you do your face.
Right.
But you only work on your mind every once in a while.
Right. That makes no sense.
So you've got to develop the overriding so you can create the overflow that spills over into the physical evidence in your life.
Yes.
So I didn't know that until I started going to these every time I went to a personal development seminar, they were teaching me about what I was reading. And even though it wasn't like a spiritual seminar, but they had words that would help me to support me in understanding what I had just learned.
Right.
So what's the point of learning something if you're not aware of what you're learning? You can't efficiently apply it. So throughout that whole entire process, I just became accustomed to learning and feeding my mind, and I'm watching all of these beautiful things come into my life. And when it clicked is, so I'm gonna keep reading the book. 347 because I read the book 347 times.
I'm done.
Between the paperback and the audiobook, over and over and over.
Wow.
Because things keep happening.
Exactly.
And when you read it, like one guy told me, he was like, well, how many books have you read? It was a reading book competition. How many books have you read? And I told him, he was like, that's it. I read a book a day and da-da-da. I was like, yeah, but you're still in the same spot.
Come on, what are you applying?
How you gonna read Think and Grow Rich and still be broke?
Come on, Garrain.
That makes no sense. You gotta think and grow rich.
Yes.
And I was like, you didn't ask me how many times I read those books.
Right.
Because I read The Power 125 times. I read the Power of Positive Thinking at that time 275 times. And Bruce Lee says, fear not the man that practices 1,000 kicks, fear the man that practices one kick 1,000 times, because now you're in mastery of embodiment. And that's why a lot of people who do personal development, or even people who quote scriptures, they're not living it.
Right.
And you can't live it if you're just doing it from memory.
Repetition. Yeah.
It's got to be embodied.
Right.
And so when I do it over and over and over, you listen to a song over and over and over and over, you're singing it for the next month.
Yes.
So if you read the book over and over and over, it sinks into your subconscious mind, which gives birth to the physical.
Right. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. So as you're going through this transformation, how was your family and your mom and the people closest to you, how were they responding to this? This is a whole different Garrain.
My mom has always been like my number one fan.
Yeah.
In anything that I did. Always. She's always been my number one fan. But at one point I was feeling bad because she would like support. It's like, I know you're going to do well.
Yeah.
And then I would fail at this. I know you're going to do. And it was like one thing after the other, after the other. Then I started doubting myself.
Yeah.
Can I really make it?
Yeah. Love it.
And so when I told myself I can do whatever it is I need to do, and I'm going to make it by any means necessary, I needed to decide what make it means.
Yes.
That was the difference. I never knew what make it was. I thought make it was having a bunch of money. Meanwhile, I got friends blowing their brains out, snorting cocaine with all that money.
Filthy rich.
Because they had everything but their own self.
Right. Exactly.
So making it for me, my currency is peace of mind. And once I was clear on what I wanted, what making it means, I wanted peace of mind. I wanted to be free. Like, I'm not talking about outside freedom, and this is no disrespect from anybody who like fought and died for us to have freedom, but it's like that's outside freedom.
Yeah, it is.
You can't be free if you're not free in your mind. That's the only real freedom. So my Independence Day is August 2011, and that's the day I decided that I was going to be free in my mind. Wow. And so I celebrate my own version of Independence Day because that's when I became free and not in bondage of my past or my ancestors and everything.
Right.
I empower that, but I'm not trapped.
Right.
I'm not trapped by that.
That's powerful.
And so now knowing that, what do you do with it? Right. So for me, you can't be what you can't see. So for humanity, they needed to see an example of somebody that was 1% of the 1% of the 1% who never make it out. So that I could show it in a way that not only gives the culture a new way to look at a man of color,
Right.
but then also that gives humanity a way to look at somebody that's actually free
Yes.
and authentic and living in his divine nature and like truly in walk, doing everything the hell he wants, regardless of what other people think, because I really don't give a damn.
Yes. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So you were in this journey, right?
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact, Garrain 10 years ago versus 10 years ago versus 10, you know what I mean? It's totally different. You grow and you grow into a
Absolutely.
totally different person. You look back and you're like, dang, look how I used to think. Look how I used to be. And it's not to look down on it, but it's
Yeah.
just reality. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a totally different person. There is a point where you were in LA and you were homeless.
Yeah.
And we've heard these stories of,
Yeah.
coming to LA and get homeless and blah, blah, blah. But then you started to manifest and you started to just go for no. You just started to go for it. So someone told you to audition. Just go audition for some modeling gigs. Yo, you should model.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I will.
Yeah.
Tell us the story of how that went and how the result of that.
You want the details?
I love the details.
Okay,
From
cool.
being in the lines to, yes, give it all.
So when I first, in 2000, during that time, the modeling industry wasn't as diverse as it is now, so they weren't openly accepting like African Americans or black people in general, unless you had if you were like Brazilian or something like that. But like in America, it wasn't happening. They had the one African dude and the one light-skinned guy with the colored eyes.
That was it.
That's it.
That was it.
That's it.
Yes.
And so here I am, somebody saying, you should be a model. Mind you, I was 5 foot, I'm 6'1" now. I was 5'9.5".
Wow.
I had nobody's abs.
Yeah.
I didn't have no model clothes. I looked way different than everybody.
Yeah.
I had my little twisties in my hair, so nobody had their hair like mine.
Yeah.
And they had no money, no car, no confidence, no courage, none of this stuff. I was like, I don't look like anybody. They would never get me. But there's something that clicks in my brain when people say, oh, you should try a couple. I hear couple, but what I really hear is all. So I wrote down all the agencies.
Gosh.
I'm going to say that again for the folks in the back. When somebody says, you should do it a couple of times, I hear, you should do it all the time. You should do all the things.
Yeah.
Audition for all the agencies. Send all the resumes.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yes.
Like literally all of them. So that's what I heard. So I wrote down a list of all these agencies. No car. I had a bus pass.
Come on, Garrain.
So I'm on a bus pass, and it takes about an hour between the walking and the waiting, and then walking a mile, 2 miles to get to the agency. I put all the easy agencies first, and the hard agencies last. So I put Wilhelmina and Ford last.
Okay.
I know I'm not gonna get in them.
Right.
So in the beginning, I put like, I'm not about to bust nobody
Don't
out.
do it,
But
don't do
all the easy agencies, y'all know who y'all was back in 2000, and they all rejected me. So I went to the first one that I knew I was gonna get in. Sorry, we already have somebody that looks like you. Mind you, you got the minimum height was 6'1". I was 5'9.5". Plus I was black. Plus I had no abs, had no portfolio, and I wasn't confident. So I'm going in with not a win-win possibility.
At all.
Rejected. Crushed. Why did I do this? Why did I listen to these people? And the little voice inside says, keep going. Get to the next one. Rejection. We already have somebody that looks like you. Get to the next one. Rejection. We already have somebody that looks like you. I go to sleep feeling rejected.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Keep going. You've come this far. That's what the little voice was saying. Get to the next one. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Next day, it was like a typewriter. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Next day, rejection, rejection. I get to Ford. We already have somebody that looks like you. I'm like, well, if Ford ain't gonna, all these people, the easiest one ain't gonna take me. Why would I ever think Ford? So I was literally gonna be done. I'm done.
Right.
You've come this far. Keep going. So I get inside the room, and it was a cattle call. So it was like 50, 60 people. All of them was like 6'3", 6'4". They had sweater abs. They looked like Tyson Beckford in every nationality. Chinese Tyson Beckford, white Tyson Beckford, like like European, like it was all these different ones.
And then
and then there was me. 5'9.5", nobody's abs, bird chest. Well, I had a little bit of something. However, it wasn't what it is now. No portfolio, because they had the portfolio. I mean to the 9, to the 11. So I'm in this line. So we sitting down, and I'm one of the last people, and they're literally rejecting people every 2 minutes. So they'll look at them. Next. So I'm watching. I've been rejected for the last 3 days, and I'm watching all these rejections. The person that was like, oh my goodness, this guy has already done commercials and billboards and everything. He's coming to this agency. Rejection. I'm like, if all these people got rejected,
I already know.
I know I'm rejected. I was like, I don't look like nobody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't look like any of them. I'm rejection. They get to the second to the last person. I leave. I get to the elevator. Garrain, you come this far, keep going. And I go back into the room again.
Good for you.
And then I get into the room, and it comes my time, and all of a sudden, little B dude named David Todd, he's like, And he just kept looking at me. I was like, this is longer than the other people.
Right.
I'm like, this is like long. And he was like, one moment. So he comes back with his little Polaroid, take the shirt off, take the picture. I was like, yo, none of these other people got this. I'm like, we in here, this is like 5 minutes. Comes back, and I see him at his little desk. He's with the other agents. They're just like looking at me like, I'm like, yo, this is weird. He comes back. We'd love to represent you.
Wow.
In my head, I heard no.
But
what I really heard was, we'd love to represent you. And my head is like, I don't look like nobody. And this is what he said. We'd love to represent you. You don't look like any of our models. So for the very thing
that you thought
that I was insecure about, I wasn't confident about, I had no courage, no bravery, and I'm so in, like all of these different things, no portfolio, nothing. We'd love to represent you. And we're going to take a couple more photos. We're going to send you on some auditions. They sent me on the Skechers campaign, the Buckle campaign, and the Destiny's Child Jumpin' campaign. I did not have a car, so I made it to the Skechers campaign, I made it to the Buckle campaign, and I did not make it to the Beyonce, the Destiny's Child.
Right. Jumpin'.
The video. I did not even make it. So I went to sleep. I was like, damn, they just gave me the shot, and I didn't even make the audition. I woke up the next day. Today's your lucky day. You booked all 3.
3.
And I'm like, even the Destiny's Child? I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Beyonce just happened to come into the agency yesterday, and she handpicked your card.
Come on.
Simultaneously, I was reading the book, The Power of Positive Thinking.
Come on, Garrain.
And so, in my head, I'm like, so I went from no money, living, because I lived in my car twice. Living in my car, 91 Ford Taurus, to $2,500 for the Buckle campaign, $4,000 for the Skechers campaign, $7,500 for the Destiny's Child, and that's literally in 1 week. So, some of you out there might be experiencing rejection, and after the first time, you say that it's not working. What if the child who's just learning how to walk said it's not working? Or could you keep going 72,573 times before you adapt to something that's not even your natural state? Walking is not our natural state. So I just kept going and developing the muscle.
Yes.
And I earned my powerful yes by growing through my nose.
Yeah, could you say it one more time? One more time for the people in the back.
I earned my powerful yes by growing through the no's. The no's, you can either take that as rejection or you can take that as it's strengthening you and strengthening you and strengthening you and strengthening you. The baby gets up, falls down, gets up, falls down, gets up, falls down, balance. You get on a bike, fall down, you get on a bike, fall down, balance. You're trying to learn the ABCs, 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 ball. Could it be that this same process is a part of every structure that has to do with growth?
And there it is. I love it. So this is my last question, because I could do this all day. I'm sorry. I live for this. This is a personal transformation Tuesday for me, okay? So Steve Harvey once said, right? It's a powerful story, and I'm just going to paraphrase. Okay. But it was a story where this guy's on his deathbed, and he asks this young man, he says, do you know your great-grandfather's name? Do you know your great-great-grandfather's name? And he said, no, I don't. He said, do you know why? Because he never left you anything. What is it that the generations to come, the Jones generations, will remember about Garrain?
Yo, that's cold.
Oh, I know. Ooh. Oh, I know. Yes, sir.
I know my grandfather's name, great grandfather's name, but I can see how that resonates big time.
Yes.
So I asked that question again.
Okay. There are generations of Jones that are going to be coming after this. You're 39, you'll be 59, you'll be 79, you'll be 89, you'll be 99, you'll be 109. What is it that they will remember great-grandpa Jones, great-grandpa Garrain Jones? What are you going to leave for them to remember?
The power to know who they are, and actually use that to make a difference in this world. To truly know who you are is very difficult.
Yeah.
So the power to operate through your divine nature, who you were here to be, who you're called to be, in this fullest authentic expression, they just need an example. And so, I plan to have 2 kids. They won't be raised how I was raised.
Of course.
They'll be raised from the capacity of how I operate now. So imagining that legacy and how fast the world will be, the fast-paced the world will be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be straight.
Can that segue into the book a little bit?
Absolutely.
I know, I don't know what we can talk about, what we can't talk about, but it's a book coming.
My book that's about to come out.
Give us a little bit before we wrap.
So, I was never trying to write a book. There was something about when I was going through this transformational stage from 2011 now to 2019. It's crazy. It hasn't even been that long.
Yeah.
Something kept telling me to document your journey. Even when I was sleeping in my storage unit, and I have all this footage.
Yeah,
something told me to take it.
Wow.
And I just kept, and then some of the stuff, I would actually put it online. This is where I am at now. 5 years from now, I'll be here.
Yeah.
And all my declarations are online for people to see.
Okay.
What I didn't know is how many people would stop from killing themselves, putting the gun down, not running off the bridge, stop drinking alcohol, put the drugs away,
I'm getting chills.
Find a new hustle, not call they baby mama, and actually acknowledge her by her name, and then actually rekindle that relationship for the happiness of the daughter, not as boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, or whatever, but as just family.
Right.
So everyone is happy.
Yeah.
Those are all the things that I transformed from. Like I never did drugs. I was around that. But through my story, people gave that up. You don't have to have been in prison to be in prison in your mind. So many people were relating to my story. Thousands of people over time who it wasn't about the amount of people that were following me. It was the caliber of people who were so... I've never been able to say this to anyone, not my husband, not my wife, not my pastor, anybody. But there's something about your story and your willingness to be vulnerable and share it. I feel safe to say it. And I got so many emails. Write a book, write a book, write a book, write a book. Your experience helped me. Your experience. And when you hear that for 7 straight years in almost every single message, I was like, at some point,
I'm gonna have to write a book.
Are you going to realize the spiritual lottery that's going bing, 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 bing? Are you going to collect or not? So then I decided that I was going to put out a book, but it's a book based off my experiences. So I'm not going to I really don't do many things conventional. So my book actually has experiences in there instead of chapters. They're not even called chapters. They're called experiences, and I've extracted the lessons, showed how it's worked for me, what I got from it, how it'll work for you, what it'll go in your life, and how to apply it.
Yes.
Because you can't get it until you apply it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
so
exciting.
my whole entire book is based off of that. But there's so many stories. What took so long is I didn't know what to put in the book because there was so much to my story until my financial advisor was like, Garrain, you have about 50 books worth of content. Just get the first one out.
Yeah.
And the first one ain't going to even be the most powerful one. Just get it out. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, the people have spoken.
Right.
And when the people speak without me trying to force it, I know God is the orchestrator of all of that.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you ain't gonna listen to this music? I'm playing this song for you. Hello, they're all playing the same instrument. Yeah. Everybody's saying the same thing.
Come on.
What more do I have to show you?
Right.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna cause the thing is gonna start breaking down in your life until you honor what's inside. Because we weren't created to be keepers.
Right.
We were created to be givers.
Exactly.
Hold your breath. Don't let it go. Hold your breath for a whole minute. And notice how uncomfortable your body gets. So when you hold on to your secrets, when you hold on to your insecurities, when you hold on to resentment, when you hold on to forgiving people, when you hold on to your ideas, you hold on to your creativity, it's actually clogging your abundance in your life. You see, when you release it,
how much better it feels.
How much better it feels. So you literally create a spiritual dam on your life because of all the stuff that's in the way. So you literally got to have a mental catharsis and get everything out of the way so it makes space. You create space to make room for your blessings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my book, y'all asked for it. Okay, now you're going to have it.
Right. You guys, this has been epic. This has been absolutely everything and more. And I knew it would be. Garrain,
thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for that. Thank you for saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for being viewers. Thank you for watching the show. There's so much more to come. Change your mindset, change your life, baby. This has been the Brittney O Show. This is Garrain Jones. He's amazing. Follow him on Garrain Jones, Twitter, Instagram. Damn, you're supposed to do that, not me, right?
This is the Garrain Jones Show. This is the Brittney O Show. You can follow my name is Garrain Jones. GarrainJones.com.
Oh.
Garrain Jones on Facebook. Garrain.Jones on Instagram. Subscribe. All that stuff. And most importantly, love yourself and forgive yourself.
Yes. And that's a wrap. You're the man.